Our Friday shows are always special. She first won her reign on the 10th of August 2024 in Pretoria in South Africa, becoming the very first deaf woman to take the Miss South Africa crown. Born and raised in Oudtshoorn, Mia le Roux's win has broken barriers, opened doors for the next generation of women living with disabilities. And she joins us now in studio, ladies and gentlemen, Miss South Africa, Mia le Roux. Hello, Mia.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
We're super duper excited to have you here. Firstly, I mean, how long has it been? It was August 20, so you this is now into almost halfway through your reign.
Yes, almost halfway through my reign right now.
What has it been like, the entire experience?
It's been a beautiful experience. I've got to experience many things for the first time ever. For example, for the first time ever, I am getting to experience that people are truly willing to learn on what it means to be inclusive.
Yeah.
Like critical conversation is happening in households, in offices, everywhere. It needs to be happening. So to me, that has been like the most beautiful part.
The entire Miss South Africa process is actually a very gruesome process. And I think a lot of people don't see that looking from the outside, right? It looks like a bunch of beautiful women that just walk, but there's so much more to it. And then you, on top of that, having to prove yourself with a disability to show that you can be Miss South Africa. How did you get that right?
I think, it's hard because at the end of the day, we all are human beings with our own dreams and things, and there are a lot of expectations that come with you being Miss South Africa. But navigating it is more about, if you know in your heart you are trying your best, you are really trying your best to navigate the journey, you also have to trust that people will see the message you are trying to put out there, that people with disabilities can also do it and can handle pressure. They can live the lifestyles that they want to live and aspire to live. But in order to be able to achieve that, we do need some help, sometimes in terms of inclusion. And it's not a big ask at all.
What does it mean? Because we don't know, right? And I think a lot of people are afraid to say they don't know. We just go about it. We're afraid to ask. We're almost a little too polite. What are the things that you would like to teach us? How do we help be more inclusive?
So first of all, don't be too polite. Ask, never be scared to ask. I think every person that you encounter that has some sort of disability are different. So everyone has different needs, and that is something that you have to understand first and foremost. And then you just ask them what they need. For example, in my situation, my needs are very minimal, but for example, if you are speaking to me, please face me so I can read your lips, read your body language in order to be able to understand what you are saying. Something that is a bit more of a bigger ask that can help me be included is having captions on all the videos you post, on news bulletins, on TV, because that is also going to help me to be included. So it's small things like that that can make a huge impact and difference.
What was it like? I mean, you were born with a disability, if I'm correct, right? Firstly, am I classifying it correct? Is disability the correct classification?
Yes, you can refer to it as differently abled. I love using the term differently abled, but also we should not be building shame around the word disability. So disability is also acceptable.
And you were born this way?
Yes,
like Lady Gaga says, baby, I was born this way.
No, I was not born this way. I actually was born hearing. When I was about 14 months, my parents took me for a routine test in a hospital where a nurse did some routine standard tests, and one of them was they had to hold rattles behind my ear and shake it. And sometimes I would turn around, sometimes I wouldn't. And the nurse turned to my mom and she told my mom, "I'm sorry, I'm not sure, but I think your daughter might have some sort of hearing impairment. You need to get her tested." So fast forward a few weeks later, my mom took me to a doctor where they tested my brainwaves in response to sound. And that's where they found out that I have profound hearing loss. So that is how we...
What does that mean, profound hearing loss?
Profound hearing loss means a very high level of hearing loss to the point where you almost can't hear anything, because at the point when I was diagnosed, I did have a very small percentage of hearing still in my right ear. But it all eventually faded, and I now have 100% hearing loss.
Sure. So everything that you're able to just hear just by reading our lips?
No, that is where the cochlear implant comes in.
Okay.
It does imitate hearing, just not to the same level as a normal human ear does.
Okay.
Because it's still made by a human being. No one can actually duplicate the miracle of an actual ear.
Yeah.
So that is why we still need help in terms of being able to read your lips, because what we hear is different to what you hear. But if you ask me what I hear, I can't explain to you because I don't know what you hear.
Of course. What was it like for a young Mia growing up after the diagnosis?
So when I was diagnosed, I was showered with a lot of attention, a lot of love. And my parents, the doctor told my parents that I'm a good candidate for a cochlear implant, which I received. I did have a bit of anxiety around receiving the cochlear implant, but the benefits were so much more. And then I went to a special school from the age 2 to 5, the Carl de Toy Center. It's a school where the deaf learn to speak, with speech therapy and just real life experiences, how we read the room, how we read the body language. And I was actually very confident in that time period because I was surrounded by the most wonderful teachers, by amazing parents, by a lot of love. Everyone was trying to help me to grow. So I was extremely confident in that time period.
I think also you're surrounded by people who are going through the same life experiences.
Yes.
But once you get out of that so-called safety bubble, it
Yes.
becomes a completely different
Yes.
story. We'll get into it next. We're hanging out with Miss South Africa, Mia le Roux. Before we took a break, you spoke to us about schooling life. Once you get out of that bubble, of that sort of community of people who are going through this similar life experiences, and you are with 100% fully able-bodied people, did you find it difficult to sort of what's the word I don't know live it? Yeah.
Yes, there definitely was a shift in my experience because first I was surrounded by people who were like me, who also had cochlear implants or hearing aids. And then when I was 5 years old, I moved to a small town where everyone else around me was hearing and no one knew anything about someone with hearing loss. And I attended a mainstream school from the age 5 to 18 like everyone else. And that is where the challenges started. At first it was fine because when you are a bit younger, you are not so aware that someone is different. But then when our abstract thoughts start to form, when we become a bit older, like when we enter grade 4 to 5, we become more aware of what is different, who is different, am I different? And that is where I became aware that I'm different than everyone else around me. I have challenges that they do not have. And it definitely did affect my self-esteem in that regard. It was low, it was tough, and...
Were kids kind? Because kids can be horrible, right? In school, when were children kind to you, that you interacted with? Were they kind? Were they,
Well, they weren't unkind necessarily. There would be sometimes a bit of bullying, but that wasn't really the issue. The issue were more, if you don't understand someone or you don't understand something, what do? You avoid it. Because you experience it as strange, as alien, it makes you uncomfortable. So you're gonna rather walk a circle around it. So you feel very lonely, very excluded, different, unloved. So that is what you experience, but it's a journey that you walk through life. And when I got into high school, I did receive some therapy. And with the journey, I realized the power of knowing your self-worth. There is a line that I love. I know my worth because I have felt my unworthiness. And sometimes when you have a pain so profound from it, can be born a love very deep, a self-love. Because you understand what that self-love is doing for you. You understand that self-love is what saves you and propels you forward. So in a way, having a hard journey can also become beautiful if you let it.
Yeah. There's many young people who perhaps are different and are treated differently, maybe feel lonely and are maybe listening today and can identify with what you are saying. You've come through on the other side. Hell, you Miss South Africa 2024. Come on with it. What is the words of inspiration that you would have for those young people?
I think my words of inspiration for those young people actually would be like, sometimes I know things can get a bit tough. Sometimes you might feel a bit lonely, but just remember that those hardships also allow you to develop beautiful qualities. It teaches you to be kind. It teaches you that sometimes something will require a bit more hard work in terms of that. So it really helps you to develop good characteristics that can help you later in life.
Love that. We'll continue speaking to Mia le Roux. She's got a brand new foundation, which we'll get into, the Mia le Roux movement. Also on the way, your chance to win big with What's in the Box. We are hanging out with the gorgeous Miss South Africa, Mia le Roux, in the building. Yes. So gracious, so beautiful. There's something really amazing, a movement. I love that it's a movement is what you're calling it. Tell us about the Mia le Roux movement.
Sorry, about the Mia le Roux movement.
Yes.
So the Mia le Roux movement is something that started with a dream. On the night when I was crowned Miss South Africa, I did make a call for help, saying that I want to help to include the excluded in terms of educating the included on what it means to be inclusive towards the excluded, as well as empowering the excluded with the tools they need to be able to fulfill their full potential. And the Mia le Roux movement was built with that in mind. So we want to empower anyone who's differently abled or other forms of exclusion, and as well as create awareness around different forms of exclusion as well.
What has been the response from other people who are differently abled towards you after you've won Miss South Africa?
Sorry, do you mind saying again?
What has been like the sort of reception from people who are also differently able towards you after you were crowned?
The reception has been truly amazing. I think when I was first crowned Miss South Africa, I always tell the story, like when I was crowned, I thought about it so many times and I was like crying beforehand, but on the night of the actual crowning, I wasn't crying because I cried it all out. The first time I've cried since becoming Miss South Africa was when I saw a video that someone who is differently able posted, where she was like dancing and saying like, I feel seen, I feel beautiful, I feel heard, because our Miss South Africa is differently abled.
That's what you did.
And that is when all the tears started to come.
That is what you did, Mia. You did that. And now you want to change more lives. You've partnered with the Dis-Chem Foundation for the Mia le Roux movement. Jackie from the Dis-Chem Foundation joins us now. I mean, I'm going to ask you a very obvious question why this was important for you to, collaborate with Mia, but I mean, it's for obvious reasons.
Well, it is for obvious reasons, and now that you've all met Mia and seen how easy it is to fall in love with her and her movement, and the Dis-Chem Foundation is about caring for our community and uplifting lives, and so it was just a beautiful partnership, and here we are.
Okay, so with this movement, we are giving, because I just want us to be clear what the movement is about. We are giving the gift of hearing to those who can't necessarily afford cochlear implants or hearing aids. Is that correct?
Yes, so the Dis-Chem Foundation has partnered with the Mia le Roux movement, where we will be providing cochlear implants as well as hearing aids, etc., to people who need it, and create awareness around what it means to be deaf or have a hearing disability. And what is great about this partnership as well is that they are willing to cover off the care after the cochlear implant, which is something that a lot of people do not realize or calculate. But it's so important because a cochlear implant is not successful without proper aftercare, because you have to educate the person who received the cochlear implant what is happening, help them understand what sound is, how to interpret it, because without any speech therapy, without any mapping or audiology, a cochlear implant won't be successful because it does not replicate human hearing, but it is a powerful tool to help someone to communicate.
If I would like to be a part of this movement, maybe be a recipient of one of these implants, maybe my child, my aunt, my uncle, my mother, how do I, is it an application? How does it work?
So how we've gone about doing this is we feel it's important to give the gift of hearing to those that are much younger. So we're starting the process with, we've left a team of professionals choose the recipients. So we've stayed out of it because people are continuously reaching out. They can't afford it. Their child has hearing difficulties. They have hearing impairment. So Dr. Bassoon with Operation Healing Hands and the team of audiologists and speech therapists have selected, without our inclusion in it, an infant and 2 toddlers. So we'll start with 3 gifts of the cochlear implant.
Wow.
Thanks to the Mia le Roux movement and the Dis-Chem Foundation. Thank you.
A huge congratulations.
Nothing possible without you guys.
Wouldn't have been possible without you.
You guys.
Thank you.
You guys. But the Dis-Chem Foundation, the work that you guys continue to do is absolutely remarkable. And I think every time, Jackie, you are on the show, someone's life is guaranteed to be changed. But I think, Mia, thank you for sharing your story with us today. We don't take it for granted. It's been a journey. And I think for you guys to firstly prioritize young children, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like for parents to have to find that out when you've just given birth to a child, and it must have been a very sad experience, but you've managed to turn that around and make it something completely different. And we wanted to celebrate you today. So I'm going to switch off all the mics so that Mia can hear this voice note. Take a listen, Mia.
To my dearest Miyaki, I am so incredibly proud of you. And the one thing that I'm internally grateful for is the fact that not only do I see you as this pivotal person in the world, but now the rest of the South Africa and the rest of the world, for that matter, can see who you are. So you do a lot of really good things. You make my life incredible. You truly inspire me with your strength. You inspire me with your tenaciousness. And you inspire me with the fire that you got burning in your belly to make a change in the world. I am so grateful to have you in my life. And there's no doubt in my mind that you feel the same way about me. And I think when you've got something like that, it's truly magical. So I look forward to carry on building out our fairy tale in this world. And keep shooting for the stars, Leafy. Keep shooting for the stars.
No, that is so romantic. I take it that's your boo. I take it that's your boo, your man, your bae.
No. I was at first like,
Who is
I
this?
recognize that voice. That
Yes. I've got one more surprise for you. Take a listen.
To my dearest Miyaki,
Hello, my Miyaki. I just wanted to pop you a message to tell you that I just am in such awe of you, my girl. I'm so proud of everything you've been doing and everything you've achieved thus far. Like, watching this journey has just been unbelievable. We've been friends for so many years now, and it's incredible to have seen you blossom the way you have. You've always just been the most kind, wonderful, smart, woman with such integrity. And it's just, for me, it just means so much that you've been given this platform for the world to see it. Anyways, I just wanted to let you know how proud of you I am and that I love you to the moon and back. Okay, my special girl. Talk soon.
Congratulations, Mia, firstly on the crown, but more importantly on a life so far well lived, because there's still so much to live. But you are a true reflection of tenacity, of turning lemons into lemonade. And really, what is everybody else's excuse? If you've been able to achieve all you have at the tender age of 29, with what some would stop, right? Something like this would stop others from dreaming and believing. And I can guarantee you there's many young people who are listening right now who can hear and who are watching your story and are grateful that you walk on this earth and that you have walked the path that you have. So, Mia, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mia le Roux.
947 Drive with Tando.
This is 947.